Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Wrestling Edition. We are back again with some big wrestling updates that have been happening since we've been away. We got Crown Jewel updates, AEW updates, a little Survivor Series previews, and all the things that's been going on. So we got the wrestling expert, Mr. Jacob Mason, with us. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, dude, I'm fantastic, buddy. Ready to bang out another podcast here. Got a lot of shit to cover.
Yeah, you're 100%, 100%. I mean, where do we want to start? Where do we want to start?
Mm, well, oh shit. I might as well start off with Crown Jewel, Blood Money, whatever.
Yep.
Let's just get that one done and out of the way.
All right. We're starting off with Crown Jewel, aka Blood Money, just went on this past Saturday in Saudi Arabia. There's a couple matches on the card. There's Bobby versus Brock, Women's Tag Team Championship match, Drew and Karrion, the OC versus Judgment Day, Braun versus Omos, the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes, Bianca versus Bayley, and Roman versus Logan Paul. We'll go through these real quick since we do have a lot to talk about in the world of wrestling. First match of the night was Bobby versus Brock. Uh, Jacob, as you've already known, like the finish, everyone's asking like what the hell happened with the finish. Obviously, it's to set up another round because Brock Lesnar, Bobby was actually really whooping his ass. You don't see that too often.
Right, yeah. I were you pissed off about the ending? Let's just start there.
Nah, not as much because I knew Brock was gonna win, but if they're gonna keep this rivalry going, he would have to win this one because obviously Bobby won that one where we thought he had no chance of winning at that Royal Rumble. So if they're gonna do a third match, they got to make it 1-1. My dream is third match WrestleMania Fight Pit.
Oh, I'd be sweet. That'd be a perfect scenario.
Yeah, let them go
Uh,
legit. They're both legit badasses. Let them do it.
yeah, Yeah, for sure. And we could finally get the legitimate match we've all been waiting for. And they've been teasing it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we got a little bit of it at Royal Rumble. We got a little bit of it here. I was okay with it because I'm like, okay, well, this is going to continue on. I feel like the payoff is going to be good. So, like, I
Right.
wasn't upset about it.
Yeah, me either. There was just no way they were going to have Brock Lesnar lose after him jobbing to Roman for the whole year. There's no way.
Yeah. I mean, if I can see, could you see Brock doing the job for Bobby, though, in
I
the end?
can't. I think Brock's all about the money, so you do it at the biggest payoff possible. My dream would be WrestleMania. Maybe they do it at a Royal Rumble. We don't know what's going on because, like we'll talk about later, Survivor Series is in a couple of weeks, and after Survivor Series, there's no more pay-per-views until Royal Rumble.
That's right. Then it's busy season.
Yeah, then it. No, I had no problem with it. Match I did have a little problem with though was Alexa Bliss and Asuka versus Damage Control. The reason being, just this past Monday, Bliss and Asuka won the titles from them, and Damage Control took them back. That made no sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I don't know what the point was. I don't know like what long term storytelling we're doing here. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with this, but that was pointless. That was a Charlotte Flair reign or Charlotte Flair championship reign. I don't like that.
I agree. I agree. Now, do you think Bray is coming after Bliss because she was doing a little pre-match interview and the like Bray insignia came up and she stared at it? And do you think he's coming for her?
I hope so. I'm telling you, I mean, we said it on, I believe it was the last podcast when
Mm-hmm.
Bray came back. I said the one thing I got to see Bray Wyatt take out Alexa Bliss has to happen.
You did. You did. She was the last person who really was the reason he, in storyline wise, left because she betrayed him.
Yeah,
So no, I agree. I agree. Next match, you have Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre steel cage match. Both really big guys. Drew comes out on top. Do you like that decision?
Oh, it's so hard for me. One, because I want to see the storyline continue on because I believe they have really great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to have a payoff match eventually to settle it, but it's kind of hard to settle this when you have, as I always say, Drew McIntyre, right guy, wrong time. And if that's the case, you still have to make him look strong, but you do have to make Karrion look strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this was just a time filler match. This is just another part of the storyline match.
Yeah, and Drew needs a break because this dude's been wrestling with sicknesses and all that guy. Like this guy's a true warrior, but he needs to take some time away to get better, to get like heal up before, like you said, busy season, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. Because I'm sure he'll be heavily involved in the stories going forward.
Yeah, and didn't he have the flu leading up to this match?
Yep.
And then the poor guy gets pepper sprayed.
Yeah.
Guy's just
Hey,
having it, man.
hey, man, pepper spray. That shit hurts, man. I take it from someone who just had to do it this past weekend. It is awful.
All right, I'm gonna ask about that after the podcast. Circle back to that.
No, we will. We'll circle back to that off air. But yeah, it's awful. Pepper spray sucks. But you got the OC, Styles, Anderson Gallows versus Judgment Day, Finn, Damian, and Dominic. I think Michael Cole had the best line where he's like, man, someone needs to whoop Rhea Ripley's ass because she is the MVP of Judgment Day.
Oh, 100%.
Who does the OC go to? Because if they're going to continue this feud, they need a woman. And it can't be just it needs to be like an intimidating woman.
I mean, you can't. I mean, you could go with oh God, what's her name? Ex-Army girl.
Lacey Evans?
Yes, you go Lacey
Okay,
Evans.
that's a good
Got
one.
nothing else to do.
That is true.
I mean, of course, you have. I mean, the another name that comes to mind is Beth Phoenix, of course, considering Rhea's hair was all done up for like how Beth Phoenix does hers. So, I mean, that I could see that. I could see that match happening at Mania, possibly.
Which I do like how the Judgment Day has shifted to their main focus. Their main focus is Rhea because you can have all these guys matching up with each other, but Rhea, as the female on the team, who's just also so dominant, she could flip these dudes over. She could beat them up while they can't touch. It's such a heelish thing that they need to find someone.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, I love Rhea's character right now. It couldn't be done any better currently. The way she does everything, even the way like her and Dominic have their pre-match like little thing, whatever the hell they do. She's always whispering something in his ear. Like it just works. Who's like the only woman I can think of really that would make the most sense is Beth Phoenix. I really don't want that to happen because I feel like you could take someone else who's a full timer who's not doing anything and put them on a elevated boost.
What about your girl, Lady McBland, Raquel?
I don't give two shits about her. I mean, but it would work though if you want a dominant champion or a dominant woman to do it. There's another option.
Or we're not saying she's coming back, but you never know under Triple H. OC go out and reach out to Nia Jax?
I don't see that.
I was just thinking of another dominant.
If anything, you could also, because the rumors are Mia Yim's coming back.
Yeah.
You could throw Mia Yim into that, and she'd be perfect for that little group. You have options there. You have plenty of options to play with.
Someone's got to find something because no one's beating Judgment Day unless you can take out Rhea Ripley.
It's also weird seeing the fact the Good Brothers were back in Saudi Arabia. I mean, legitimately.
Yeah, I mean,
And later, we're going to have to circle back to the Carl Anderson drama that's happening right now, too.
we could circle since we're on it. We could talk about it now.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on with the storyline with New Japan and Carl Anderson. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's kayfabe. I have no idea what's happening,
Mhm.
which is pretty good. So, for those who do not know, Carl Anderson is the never openweight champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling right now, even though he's now signed with WWE. I I don't know if he still has a contract with New Japan. No one knows. He says like he's going to show up whenever he feels like, and then there's this whole thing with Haiku Leo, who's the younger brother of Tamatonga and Tongaloa, and he's the number one contender for the match. And on his end of things, he's like, New Japan, don't strip him of the title. I want to earn it. I want to beat his ass, blah, 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 whatever. It's a whole thing. So I I don't know. Have you been keeping up with any of it?
Since you brought it to our attention, yeah, I guess, what does he need to do? Does he need to defend the title at a big show, drop the title, be done with it? Like, how do we make that happen? Oh, well, we can bring this up now. I mean, Nakamura is about to wrestle outside of WWE, so maybe Triple H lets him do it.
I mean, is this Triple H opening up? Is this like part of the storyline of Triple H opening the forbidden door for WWE?
Could be, could be. I mean,
I mean, we're no longer in the Vince era, so anything's possible.
that's true. Him letting Nakamura wrestle that match is a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, and that's Nakamura is going to Pro Wrestling Noah to face the Great Muta at
Mm-hmm.
is it New Year's Day or New Year's Eve? I forget which one it
Let
is.
me look. Let me look through our stuff.
But a WWE star wrestling for another promotion while in WWE, that's awesome. That's that's big shit.
It is. It is.
Like
It's
on the grand
wild.
scheme of things, that's the biggest thing WWE has done with any other company in God, I don't know when. Well,
Um,
since probably since they brought in Mickey James for the Rumble and said she was the TNA or Impact Women's Champion.
I mean, you could already see the changes with Triple H because Michael Cole is, and they're not doing like, oh, your history outside of WWE doesn't matter. Michael Cole, which was anyone, if you would have been watching this shit 10 years ago, you'd be like, no way. Michael Cole was openly saying like Bullet Club.
Yeah, and saying how Gallows and Anderson are the have been the X amount of time IWGP Tag Team Champions, which is like, fuck, can't believe these words are being spoken on live TV.
Yeah, how Finn Balor was the leader of the Bullet Club, like Bergamot, like all that shit. The Nakamura match is the New Year, so New Year's Day.
Okay,
But yeah,
there you
you're
go.
seeing the changes with Triple H. You are, because Vince wouldn't let that go.
Oh, absolutely not.
So I don't know, man. Next match, which also after it came with controversy today, Braun Strowman versus Omos. It's very weird to see Braun Strowman be the littler person in the ring. It really is, but Omos was he's a lot taller than him than I expected. And
Yeah.
Braun Strowman does come out on top. A lot of people said this was Omos's best match. I know you're not a fan of his, but they said those two worked great together. And then your boy Braun, man, causing some shit on the Twitter storms, on the social media, directly calling out. Let me read it out. He said, "Holy hell, at Giant Omos. Can you believe we got a 47 star emojis and reminded the people that no one cares about these floppy floppers. Giants and monsters are greater than flipper bag your groceries at Kroger." Hashtag airport test. Hashtag size is a prize. Hashtag swole is the goal. Then Mustafa
Okay.
Ali answered back saying, If you could teach Braun, if he could teach Mustafa Ali how to get fired, because obviously Braun was in our mass releases last year, and then Will Ospreay got into it, and then it just, and then it all Chris Jericho got into it. All these people got into it, man. Braun knows how to stir shit up. He always does.
I mean, controversy makes cash, I guess. I mean, if you're going to quote Eric Bischoff here, but man, first off, I thought this match fucking sucked. Omos is the fucking Nigerian, Great Khali. I'm not a fan. Fucking, I just don't fucking like him. I don't think he moves well. I don't like. There's way better big men out there. Like it wasn't. It was my worst match of that entire pay per view.
Which is fair. Which is fair. I think they placed it in the right spot though,
Yeah, it was a
because
good time to take a piss.
yeah, because right after that you had the undisputed. I mean, we all knew the Usos were gonna win, but the Brutes did put up a good fight. What do you think about the Usos continuing their historic reign and now about to get into another feud with the New Day?
Right guys, right time, I guess.
It
Right storylines. Like the bloodline is fucking money. Is
is.
such money right now. I don't care who it is. It's all fucking money. I guess they're going to get into it with the New Day, like you said. Cool. Usos and New Day always put on a good match. So I'm going to be sports entertained. I'm in for the ride.
Okay. And we'll see how that match goes. Then you have the women's match, last woman standing, Bianca and Bailey. Both have chemistry. Bianca comes out on top. You have it's gonna be a new meme of Bianca driving Bailey on top of like that golf cart. This is probably the last one they've had. They've had good matches this whole feud, and Belair has come out on top in this feud. So we'll see where she goes next. What did you think of those two?
It's a fine match. I mean, I can't think of really a shitty Bianca Belair match. Like, was it my favorite? No, but was it solid? Absolutely. I mean, my biggest takeaway from this women's match and the women's matches in general were there was a bunch of women highlighted in this match
Yeah.
or in this show, I should say.
Yes.
Like way more than I expected, you know. I mean, shit, years ago we wouldn't even talk about this fucking pay-per-view. And this one, out of all of them, seemed to be a must watch.
Yeah. I mean, remember back in the day, it was a big deal when they had the very first women's match at Saudi because, Saudi, they have different views on women, and as we do in the United States, and they were like, we don't want them on the card. And obviously, they can't wear what they would wear in the United States. They got to wear, fully protective clothing, all that stuff. But we went from one match to having two dedicated matches, and then women all across the card. So it's a good step forward. We'll see how many more they will have on here. You had the main event, Roman versus Logan. I mean, everyone with a cognitive brain knew who was going to win. It was just, how do we make it look believable? Again, if you haven't known, Logan was training with Sean leading up to this match. And Jacob, a lot of people were really digging this match. Jake Paul was there too. For anyone who thinks Jake Paul's matches are fixed, if you saw him throw a working punch, you could tell they're not, because that was one of the worst working punches I've ever seen.
Oh, the
Jake.
second one was so bad.
Terrible. Terrible. But we've said it time and time again when we've talked about him. I mean, Logan wrestled in high school. Like, the dude has a knack for this. And they try, and it was an entertaining match. It was.
Oh, I love the fucking match.
Mm-hmm.
It was an absolute 100% banger. I thought. I mean, the whole time I was like, shit. Of course, Jake Paul is going to lose, and I'm okay with that. I expected nothing else, of course. But I I need more and more Jake or Logan Paul wrestling in my life because he's so freaking good. Like it's his third match. He shouldn't be this good, but he's better than over half the roster.
Well, he definitely gets time to shine, obviously. People are saying this is the greatest celebrity crossover match in pro wrestling history. I was like,
No,
agree.
it's up there, but it's not the best. It
I still need Bad Bunny and Logan to go at it.
I I honestly I don't think anything's going to top the Adam Cole
And
Pat
Pat
Mac.
McAfee.
That was the best, and Bad Bunny and Logan Paul can both surprisingly wrestle.
Yeah.
Like I was wrong about all of them, 100%. I never expected to be as entertained. But when you look at the quality of celebrity matches that's been in the WWE forever now,
Mm-hmm.
majority of them suck. And
Yep.
only recently have they been actually good.
So the Roman reigns continue. Jacob, we're getting a Survivor Series. Obviously, he's not losing his title the rest of the year. Like, obviously, your thing is Dwayne Royal Rumble, which will be in January. But man, we're over 1,000+ days without the last time him being pinned. It's just historic. There's nothing else to say. I saw something today that they were doing an interview with Triple H, and they're like, "Oh, we have an idea who's going to beat Roman. Like, we have an idea." And now everyone's just like, "Who?" He's like, "He's not going to tell you guys." Like, come on now. But him acknowledging is like, "Oh no, we have an idea who it's going to be." I mean, whoever it is, it's going to be the most career defining win you can get in this era.
It's either going to be right after Mania or at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it has to be. Who's it going to be? Who do you think? Who do you think's the guy?
We do this every podcast. Um, I, I'm going Cody.
Sticking with Cody. All right, that's more than fair.
Depending on how his injury is, I'm sticking with him.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against that.
But your guy's back now.
Which one?
Oh, that's true. Triple H brought your whole family back. Bray.
Bray is back. Bray is back. Johnny Gargano is back.
Yeah.
You have, I mean, you always have Karrion Kross. You always have Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
You have options. WWE is no longer booked into a corner.
I do. What do you think would make fans cry more? Cody winning because of obviously like the prodigal son coming back, or all the shit Bray went through and him being the one to do it?
Oof.
I might tear up at either one, man.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'd tear up more for Bray just because I feel like I'm the leader of that cult.
Well, speaking of that, because we haven't even talked, I don't think we talked on air, but when he did have his first promo, man, he was speaking to you.
Oh, pulled at my heartstrings.
Like he
But
was speaking to you guys, the guys who have been with him since day one. You've never left his side. He was talking to you guys, man.
the crazy part is, it's like, is he speaking to me or is he speaking to one of the six personalities he has?
Ooh.
Because I don't know where they're going with the storyline with Bray Wyatt.
Who do you
Which
think the uncle is? I think it's Bo Dallas.
I don't know. I have no idea. And if you bring in these people, like let's say these people become real and Bray Wyatt has matches with them, what do you do with them when they're done with these matches? Let's say it's Bo. Is Bo going to have a match with Bray? Is Bro Uncle Fester or whatever his name is? I what do you do with Bo afterwards? Or is this just Bray Wyatt? Oh, this is me followed by my 6
Personality.
personalities, and this is my new family. This is my new cult.
Well,
I I don't know. Bray
Bray
Wyatt's
showed
most
up,
watched.
but he's already the highest seller already. He's been here for like a month.
He had the coolest thing, man. I
And
mean, it
now
was
it's crazy.
I, Bray Wyatt's back. He's must watch TV. SmackDown is on fire right now.
Yes, it is. It
It
is.
is in fuego because I have to see what the Bloodline does, and I have to see what Bray Wyatt does. You have to watch those two. They're the hottest things on TV. The hottest thing in pro wrestling right now.
I know he won't get this because he hasn't won any major titles, any big matches in 2022. It's probably going to go to Roman or maybe Punk. But is Sami Zayn the wrestler of 2022 when it's all said and done? This dude is the most entertaining man in pro wrestling.
He is the sports entertainer of the year.
Okay. Okay.
Sports entertainer Sami Zayn.
I can take that.
And dude, fucking this is how powerful fucking Sami Zayn is. Sami Zayn can't go to fucking Saudi Arabia because he'll die essentially,
Correct.
legitimately.
Yep.
But the crowd is fucking chanting Sammy's name the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Like wrestling is powerful.
And then Roman saying, "You guys don't deserve Sammy." I was like, "Oh, well, that's true because if he showed up, they kill
him." Right. I thought the same thing. It's like, but I like the way Roman played that off because Roman's still technically a heel.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what they should have done with Roman from the beginning.
Hey, man. It took him, what, 7? 7, which is crazy because Roman and Seth just had their 10-year anniversaries, which is wild to think about that they've been in WWE for 10 years.
Right?
So it took him 7 to 8 out of those 10 to be the Roman he should have been at the beginning.
Yeah. And I mean, it took, I guess, good storytelling. It took the right people around him because I don't think you're going to have this popular of a bloodline without Sami Zayn.
Oh no.
Because Sammy is super oozy.
That's going to be in the English dictionary soon, guarantee it.
Has to be.
He's breaking the character. Like I was watching SmackDown last Friday, and they're all arguing before Roman comes out. And then Jay's like, "I don't give a damn about the tribal chief," and Roman shoots up, and his facial expression, I'm like, oh shit. Is this where the cracks start happening? And then Sammy's always like, he's just not being oozy. He's not being oozy. And now we've gone
broke everyone.
And now we've gone from Honore Uso. Basically, he's Sammy Uso.
Dude, it's great.
They're killing it, man. It's gonna be sad when that thing ends.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, what I want to see now is I want to see remember the therapist that Team Hell No had?
Yep.
I want to see him come in and like sit down with Sammy and Jay and just like have those two talk it out, which I just think would be so fucking funny.
So real quick on just staying with just people being on top. PWI had their women's 150 and a lot of different companies were represented, which I really like. Saori from Stardom was the number 1 ranked woman on the planet. Number 2 was Bianca Belair. Number 3, Thunder Rosa. Number 4, Becky Lynch. Number 5, Jade. Number 6, Jordan Grace. Number 7 from Stardom, Saya Kamimitai. If I butchered your name, I apologize. And number 8 was Charlotte Flair. Those were the top 8. I don't. Let me just see if I can get 9 and 10 for y'all really, really quick. Well, and then if you did the if you just cared about WWE, after Charlotte was 8th, the next person was Liv Morgan who actually made the biggest jump, I think, in PWI history. She went from like 120 to 17.
Hell yeah.
So I have no problem with those top ladies. I really don't. I mean, well represented from all companies.
I love the fact there were two names in the top 10. I had no idea who they were, which means I have to go out and I have to like look them up. Like, I'm glad to see that. That's awesome.
Agreed, agreed.
Like, I know a lot of people don't agree with like the PWI top 500 or top 150 or whatnot, but honestly, I've said it before. One of the coolest things is to go towards the back and see all the names of these indie guys who you've never heard of. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to look them up. I want to see who this is. I want to see who that is. And or if you find someone, randomly on Instagram who's an independent wrestler, you start following them and then you see their name pop up, you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and PWI does a really good job. Like if you actually like get the magazine online or printed, they'll have the person, like let's say Bianca Belair, they'll put number two. Then you'll have a whole spread of like their accomplishments within that. So that's a quick way to get up to date with like you said, the people you may never hear of. And also, like you said, it was like, oh, I've never heard of this person. Let me do a quick YouTube search on them real quick and see. And then you're like, holy shit, this person is sweet. Let me queue them up. Let me keep tabs on them. So I do like how they go through all of wrestling. That I really do appreciate. Quick other things from WWE. Emma came back, but she got her ass whooped by Ronda Rousey, but she's back. Didn't think she'd come back, but she's back. Mandy Rose made it an entire year. We're at this point in WWE, Jacob, where the main champions are having longer title reigns. There hasn't been like hot. Braun Breaker's held that title for a bit. Mandy's held her title for over a year. Roman was about 2 years going. Bianca's past 100 days. Like most of the main champions have been holding their belts really long, longer than the WWE hot potato era.
Which is good. It shows legitimacy with your champions and your championships. I mean, we just bitched earlier about the women's tag titles.
Yep.
They were lost on Monday. They were won on Sunday or Saturday.
Yep. Agreed.
Go figure. Like, why? But whoever's going to beat Mandy, it's going to be a big thing. Whoever beats Roman, it's going to be a big thing. Whoever beats the Usos, big thing.
Yep. Agreed. Well, I lied. We can't leave WWE because we haven't talked to. We did get some news about good old Vince McMahon, payouts and all of that. The special investigation teams of that have finished their investigation. It's looking like Vince paid nearly out $20 million. Almost $15 million were paid to settle sexual misconduct allegations for Vince over the past 16 years. He paid $5 million to Donald Trump's now not working foundation through donations. So it's looking like now, Vince ain't coming back at all. So we'll see what the board does. But it looks like they finished their investigation. Now they just gotta decide. $20 million, Jacob. $20 million.
And the investigation cost what? $14.6 million?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the mathematician, but that's a lot of money to spend on something just to have a $6 million difference. But I'm no millionaire. Right. So
Jacob, Colt Cabana was Chris Jericho's mystery opponent. So was that a big FU to Punk?
I don't think it was a big FU to Punk. I think it was I think that was a good moment for the locker room, is what I think that was. Because, they talked about Cabana staying on Ring of Honor so he wouldn't cross paths with Punk and wouldn't cause Punk any drama or anything. And I was really happy to see Colt Cabana show up. That, to me, that's feel good. I like Colt Cabana. He's entertaining.
It's looking like the Elite will be coming back soon.
Yep.
It's looking like it. And Nick Khan signed an extension till 2025, so he has 3 more years to plan the hostile takeover once again. Remember, you heard that on the L7C first. You've already talked about Mia Yim coming back. We say this all the time. I mean, it's looking like Sasha and Naomi were added back to the intro for WWE. We're in a good time, man. We're in a really good time. We got Survivor Series in a couple weeks. We have no matches at time of recording. We just have men's war game, women's war game. So we're gonna do the fantasy booking. Jacob, what teams will we have in those matches?
I feel like you have to have the bloodline in there.
So that's one
They
team.
are on the poster,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like you have to have the bloodline in there. Um, Question is, do you have like bloodline versus like Judgment Day or something like that?
Oh, that's tough. That's
I mean,
tough.
I don't know who they face if they do that. I mean, it would make more sense uh for AJ and the OC to face the Judgment Day in a War Games match.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really sweet if they end up putting some intergender wrestling into the War Games match also.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be sweet.
What would
Women's
you?
War Games? Shit, I don't know who the hell you have on that.
I think women's one, you got damage control, those three. Nikki Cross is four. And then whoever at five versus Bianca, Asuka, Alexa. That's three. Is that where you bring Sasha and Naomi back? Or
Oh,
you
you
hold
could.
that still?
You could. That'd work. But here, I want to ask you something because every year we talked about this one thing about Survivor Series. We always say NXT needs to be a part of it.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is this the first year where I'm like, you know what? I don't care if NXT is part of it.
I think this is the first year since. I mean, that one with NXT, when NXT was on, I think that's my favorite Survivor Series of the modern era.
Because NXT, I don't feel is as prevalent as it was.
Not since that Survivor Series where they cleaned house. And the only
Yeah,
match they lost was the one where Roman was the last person standing for Team SmackDown. But
right.
I mean, I agree. I mean, women's wise, you could also throw them in there too. You could do damage control versus the freaking toxic attraction, or you can do Bianca's group versus toxic attraction, depending on if they're going to do those normal Survivor Series matches, because technically you should be having Bianca Belair versus Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. Technically, women's champ versus women's champ. If you do the traditional, those champs go at it. U.S. Intercontinental go at it.
Roman faces himself.
Oh, he could do a whole thing with Sami Zayn for 30 minutes and I'll be okay.
Yeah. That could just be the whole match right there. Just have the bloodlines sitting around and just talking. I'd be okay
Because
with it.
God, Jay hates Sammy, and it's great. And then Sika just sits there and just whoops everyone's ass. Jimmy's the funny one. It's so man, that's a great dynamic. It's so great. But no, man, I don't with them making sure War Games is in the title. I think Triple H might have some tricks up his sleeve. I mean, they have 2 weeks to build it because we're recording on the 6th.
Something like
And
that, yeah.
yeah, and it's supposed to be the 26th. So they have 20 days to build this.
So yeah, 4 TV shows.
Yeah. To build your last big 4 pay-per-view of the year. And then we're gonna be after we do Survivor Series, we're gonna be in the Rumble predictions, man.
Yep. We already know mine, but
Oh, we do. But we gotta have alternatives.
yeah. Well, we'll have a big one for that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Hey, can you tell your guy Mr. Hart to stop hating Goldberg, man? Yeah, well, I know you don't like
I
him.
don't give a fuck about Bret Hart. I don't give two shits about Bret Hart. I've never been a Bret Hart fan. Owen was better than Bret.
Well, he still hates Goldberg, and it's the comedic meme right now.
Dude, fucking Bret. Bret Hart is a walking fucking meme for the wrestling community. Him and Ryback are amazing for just walking memes.
Ryback, every time he's like, do a poll, make sure there's no bots. Do you want me to? What do you want me to do? Everyone clicks retire,
Mm-hmm.
and then he does it again, and then retires even more.
All right, you know what? I'm going to talk about Ryback in a positive note here
Okay.
because Ryback posted something on his Instagram, which I was glad to see because it was a positive post. He posted about Logan Paul doing that spot where he had the cell phone and he
Yes.
jumped onto the table and he goes, that was super creative and that's a good way to make a viral moment. And he's right. Also on a so yeah, shout out to Ryback for actually posting something positive for once. Like, hey, good on you, man. Feed me more of that. I need more. Um Also on another point, do you think Logan Paul really tore his MCL ACL like he claimed he did? Or is he just doing that to take time off?
A little bit of both. I don't know if those are the right injuries. I do think he's a little banged up, and it's the right way to take time off.
I mean, if that's legit and he finished the match and it happened halfway through the match, then dude's a fucking legend already in my book. Like
It would,
celebrity wing Hall of Famer, 100%. He's in there.
yeah, he definitely would. And if those are all torn, he's going to be out for a long time.
Which I feel like is going to fuck up his WrestleMania moment again,
Yeah,
or another, or the next WrestleMania. Like he's not going to have a moment if he's that fucked up.
yeah. So we'll see if legit speedy recoveries to Mr. Paul, but if just using it to take time off so you come back during WrestleMania, all that stuff, then I get it. I get it. I get it. Rock's daughter finally debuted on NXT. She's in a stable, just like her pops. Can't wait to see how long it takes for her to become the leader of the stable, just like Rock became the leader of the Nation of Domination. Tomasa had to go undergo surgery for a hip. Wishing him the best. Well, there's just a lot of stuff going on.
So, what do you think of the Rock's daughter's debut?
For me, it was like, oh, it's finally time on TV. And then that was it. But then when I went to sleep and woke up, go turn on the TV, Entertainment Live, this, that, all of them talking. Rock's daughter finally makes their debut. And I was like, well, it's already a mainstream news thing. Me, I was just like, it's about time. But mainstream news is they're already over it. They're already all over it. So work for more exposure for WWE, which is what they wanted.
I thought that was the most cookie cutter debut I've ever fucking seen. My name, what the fuck's something Rain or whatever her name
Yeah.
is? I'm blah 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 Rain. I'm not who you think I am. I'm not what you think I'm supposed to be. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like I didn't fucking like come on. Just
What's she supposed to do? I mean, it was just recently where they were finally acknowledging that Braun Breaker is related to the Steiners.
I mean, I didn't like it. I thought they could have done something better with that. I mean, we'll see. Maybe she just needs some more TV time. Maybe she just needs some more cooking time. I'm not sure. First impressions though, not impressed. Not
Hey.
not excited. On other debuts, something I really was actually kind of pissed off about.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Jarrett is in AEW now.
Yes.
Fuck me. Why?
Do
Fuck
you
me.
not
Like I
like
see this.
Jeff?
Like, oh fuck! Is that a nail in the coffin?
Oh,
Because tell me something fucking Jeff Jarrett has done that's worth fucking while. Jeff Jarrett's a fucking cancer on the fucking wrestling community. I don't care what anyone says. That dude's fucking terrible. He's ruined every fucking company he's basically been in.
oh my
Why
god.
the fuck Tony Khan would hire him in the first place? I don't know. Like, yes, I'm sure he's a vast knowledge of shit, but so is Jim Cornette. and I don't want Jim Cornette in AEW either.
Hey, Jim Cornette said Athena, aka Ember Moon's too aggressive and she needs to get the fuck out. How'd you feel about that?
All right, so the girl she faced
She
in
did
the
she did beat the dog shit out of her.
she beat the dog shit out of her.
She did.
That girl does work stiff though.
Yes.
Straight up. She works stiff. Like that's her whole like indie persona from everything I've read up on. That being said, I feel like you have to prepare the fucking wrestling community for such an ass beating because that was stiff as fuck. Like, I showed out to my wife, and my wife, we're both big Ember Moon fans. We're like, what the fuck is she doing right now? Like, that's not right. Only to come out later and be like, okay, well, she just worked really stiff. That's how that girl works too. So maybe that's what they were planned on doing. So at first I was like, fuck this isn't right. But now I'm like, let's see what happens. Because if you're gonna have that big of a stiff match, I feel like you could build that up. That's a storyline right there. Like, hey, next week I'm beating your ass. You want to be this stiff? I'm gonna show you stiff. Like that. I'd be okay with that. But yeah, I get but I get it. If you don't know that opponent, yeah, it looks really shitty from the outside. And I don't think it was a right thing to do because no one was prepared for that.
Yeah, because I was sitting here like, oh, you never want to think about the thing like, is this personal? Like, do they have like a personal beef we don't know about? Because it was rough.
That was not good. That was not good at all.
But on good in AEW, because this guy does have me hyped now for the summer of 24. MJF. Calling it the bidding war of 2024. That has me hyped. It really does. Because I want to see who is about to shell out this money for this man in 2024. I mean, love it.
It's good. It's good shit. Because he's going to say it until 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And into 20, like the whole time, you're going to hear that. That's just going to be his catchphrase. It'll be on a t-shirt by next week.
I might buy it.
Yeah. It's like, it's fucking good. MJF is money. He's money. It sucks we're not going to get that sweet ass, the real good promo work between him and Punk, but that's fine. We as a wrestling community have to move on from CM Punk. We begged for him to come back for years. It turned out to be a failure. Move on.
You're confirming it now. You're going failure. I know we've talked about we're going to do like a pod, like once it's official, what his status is, like, was it all worth it? But you're right now saying failure.
If he doesn't come back, and even if he does come back, things majorly have to change.
Mm-hmm. Chris Jericho called him a cancer.
Is he
That's
wrong?
Jericho. His wife fucking stormed Capitol Hill. He's called someone a cancer. That's a Punk should go whoop his ass. He has some fucking nerve.
I just called Jeff Jarrett a cancer on the wrestling community too. So,
oh well.
if Punk doesn't come back, yes, I'm calling it a failure. I'm calling it. It is what it is. It was a flash in the pan. That's all it was. It made some money, and in the long term, it lost money.
Yeah, we were going to be looking at, man, what would have been the biggest match in maybe 15, 20 years?
It would have been like everyone wanted to see Stone Cold versus CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wanted to see that match, and we never got to see it. And that's fine. It was the modern day version of that.
Okay. Yeah.
What we would have got, I feel like.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, if they come out and they say, "Hey, we bought out Punk from his contract," then of course we'll have that big talk. We'll have the big podcast. Which, if we do that, I feel like we have to get everyone else involved on that.
Yeah, wow,
because that's a big one.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I'd call it a failure. That's just where I'm at.
When is Moxley and MJF's match.
At Full Gear, which I believe is in, is it the 8th? Is it the 18th?
So 2 weeks from now.
Something like that.
Okay.
Which
Is it MJF's time?
I would say so, yes. MJF is a heel, but he's trying to do everything kind of like a face. He's like, I want to face you at your best. I don't want, because he was with that one group, Stoli Hathaway's fucking group or whatnot, and that lasted.
And they turned on him.
Yeah, it lasted 3 days because he was bigger than the entire group. It made no sense for him to even be in it in the first place, and that was the best way for them to do it. Is just like cut ties, move on. That's that. That's your best way to do it. I'm excited for that match. It's going to be good. If the promos are anything what the match is going to be like, sign me up. Then we know MJF can have a good hardcore match.
Yes, we do. There was also saying with AEW, man, because Thunder Rosa had some talks. I think she was talking to Bleacher Report. It does look like this smoke with her was real. Like, I don't know what the hell happened backstage. What people legitimately were not messing with her.
I mean,
and she said she's tired. Like, who's the current champ right now? Tony Storm. I think Jamie Hayter's finally going to take the title now, though, which I think is finally a good move. But they're like, these are interim champs. Tony Storm's like, how are you going to call me the interim champ when you're not even at work? I'm like, oh, okay.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong, but
not wrong. And I've said this on past podcasts, and I'll keep saying it. AEW has to figure out who the fuck wants to be there and who's there for a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the cream's going to rise to the top. That's that. Mox is there for the long haul. Jericho's there for the long haul.
Needs a vacation, though.
Needs a vacation. I think he'll get it after MJF.
Yeah.
Well deserved. I mean, Jericho's there, you know.
Sometimes I forget there's so many other people there, like Danielson, Cole, Mirio. Mirio should leave. I'm being serious. I don't know what his contract is, but he's getting no time.
Yeah. Gonna have to move on from him.
Just go whoop Sammy's ass like Andrade did. Just go whoop his ass and get suspended.
I mean, I'm going to be real with you. Does anyone care about Andrade at the end of the day? Because let's be real, I feel like he has more of a name in America because of his wife.
I agree.
And what he's made for himself. If you're in Mexico or you're in a lucha heavy region, then it's completely different. But in America, let's be real, that's Charlotte Flair's man.
No, I 100% agree. I do.
Like, if he'd leave, I'd be like, you know what, sweet, awesome, good.
No, I just, with those things, it's the reality check for some of them, because obviously we all love that there's multiple shows in town because it means more people can have jobs. There's more wrestling content, keeps us in the wrestling podcast game. It's just funny where the people who think they should be top billing on, like, let's say WWE, then go to AEW, and then they're in a worse position than they were in WWE.
Yeah. Yep.
Old saying, grass ain't always green on the other side, man. You got to really look at yourself and be like, there's nothing wrong with being a good hand. There's nothing wrong with being a good workhorse mid-card. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And you also have to realize every major company has very, very good talent.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like no one's lacking for a main eventer to carry the fucking flag. Every company's got one. Just because you're coming from WWE and you think you're the top shit, don't mean anything when you move on now.
Mm-hmm.
The wrestling landscape has changed drastically in the past 3 years now.
Yeah. Just
from what's happened, AEW started up, Ring of Honor went down, Ring of Honor came back, WWE Vince left, Triple H era is now in, NXT was phenomenal, now it's fucking no one cares about it. New Japan's still doing New Japan things because they're always going to do New Japan things. Fucking, it's insane how crazy the landscape's changed.
Agreed. But those are the people like a Rusev, Andrade is just like, I mean, you thought now someone who opposite when he were fully unleashed, like a John Moxley. Like, sure, John was like near the, I don't want to say like shield wise, sure they're at the top, he was a champ, but he never really was the guy at all. He went to AEW, reinvented himself, and he's literally like Captain America role. He's the leader of that locker room.
Yeah.
Now those cases are great stories.
I mean, it's kind of funny though because early Shield, I did look at Dean Ambrose like the top guy in that stable.
He was the biggest talker. He was the one talking for him.
I mean, when I was like, I wouldn't have thought in a million years that that order was flip flop.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, I didn't never thought that Seth would be. Well, shout out to Justin because Justin's been he was about the Seth trade since the good of the Shield. I never thought Seth would have a moment like he did at the Royal Rumble against Cena and Brock in the Triple Threat, and obviously the heist of the century. I was like, holy shit, this guy is amazing.
You mean Roman and Brock?
No, when Seth, remember when he had the Royal Rumble match with Cena and Brock?
Oh yeah, sorry.
And then the next pay per view, was WrestleMania where he cashed in. Like, and they're all good. It's just like John's full potential was unleashed when he went to AEW, and those are the great stories.
Yep.
But more often than not, most of the people who left for WWE and went to AEW, they're either the same spot or lower.
Yeah. But then you also have to look at all the homegrown talent they have.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking the Acclaimed. The fucking Acclaimed.
That is a great success story. It truly is.
So good. So happy to see it.
I mean, they're good. They're in a really good.
Everything.
It's just hard because no disrespect to all of them, especially last 2 months. Punk's a bigger star than everyone on that damn roster. So when he fucked up, it just put a dark cloud over it. People still ask about it. But once you get past that dark cloud, their top champion's really good in Moxley. The Acclaim's really good. Tony Storm, You maybe have one of the 1A, 1B between him and Sammy, MJF and Sammy, two most entertaining people in all of wrestling. Like, AEW has some really good shit. It's just Punk fucked up the momentum.
Yeah, he 100% did. And it's whether the Storm get out from the Storm, that's if I'm Tony Khan, I'm buying out that contract and just being like, thank you. Thanks, but no thanks. See you down the road. That's it. That be done with it. Move the fuck on.
And he can't let any media scrum happen like that ever again.
No.
Like, if he knows it's about to go off the rails, he has to cut the shit. Like, stop it. We're going. We're leaving.
Or do we? I mean, it'll be interesting on the next pay per view if they do a scrum or not.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, I don't know.
You want to end it, then if you don't want that to happen again, then you end it.
But I feel like you have to if your last thing is MJF winning the title.
Or you just make people tune in till Wednesday.
That's true.
First thing.
That's true.
So if there's a big title change in WWE, everyone has to see what happens on Monday Night Raw. Everyone has to see what happens on SmackDown. You know what? As much as I love the scrums, I do. Because 9 times out of 10, they're great. They just have the one really shitty time. So
they bring the authentic factor, like, post game, like they bring the authenticity to it.
Great. It's like, remember Talking Smack?
Yes.
Back when it was the shit. And they had the greatest moment was the Miz and Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm. Still to this day, messed up. Should have put the strap on Miz right after that.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember, was it AJ Styles who was champ at that time? Or Dean, one of those two. But yeah, man, AEW has some good stuff going. It's just everyone's just going to be asking about the Punk. It is going to come back up once the Elite and once Omega and all them fully come back, and it's going to be like, so where's Punk? What's he doing? Yada yada yada. Once we get the confirmed thing, you will hear it from us. So we're going to try and have Byron, and we're going to try and have everyone on because that's going to be full CM Punk. But Jacob, man, anything else? we basically covered a month's worth of wrestling news in an hour.
I mean, we've had returns, we've had pay-per-views, we've had ups and downs, and fucking Jeff Jarrett, fuck him. Yeah,
It just sucks because we don't know what Survivor Series matches are.
Oh yeah, but we'll do it. We can do a pre-show on that.
Yeah.
No problem.
But besides that, I mean, I think we're good.
Yeah, I can't think of much else happening right now in the wrestling world. We've covered the vast majority of it. I'm sure we missed stuff, but no big deal.
Yeah, because we could just cover it next time. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Last big pay-per-views coming this November. We'll be back previewing them all. And then, as Jacob said at the very beginning, the end of the year is coming, which means wrestling-wise, you're gearing up for Royal Rumble weekend. And previews for all that. We're going to get to our busy season before you know it. But make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe, be following us, and we'll keep you up to date on things wrestling. This is the L7C podcast, signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.